Hello and welcome. This is Heslop Tech Talk Live. This is Joel back with you for another video. Happy to be here. We got my brochachos, Brodenero, Bronzels in the building, Jeremy and Josh. Jeremy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, folks. Jeremy Heslop, the oldest of the Heslop Tri-Clan. Excited to be here, owner of OmniTech Pro, where we help businesses succeed through IT strategy and management, and looking forward to all the tech talk today.
Yeah, Joshua, what do you got? Introduce yourself.
Joshua Heslop, as seen by the overlay. La da 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 da. I run Joshua 14 Gaming and Tech Reviews at youtube.com/Joshua14, as well as Joshua.net. And I'm on the Facebooks as well and the Twitters. So you can find me, all those links on my YouTube. But yes, very excited. Joel does not have a magic, lower third today. But that's just because he's young and, doesn't have enough tech knowledge for y'all. So don't worry, we'll pick up the slack.
Still working here. Yeah, well, cool. Well, there's been a lot of fun tech stuff this week, and so we're just gonna jump right in here. Jeremy, what do you got coming out from DJI?
Yes, the infamous DJI. We have their latest take on the small drone market, and it's called the Spark. So, unless you haven't seen the big YouTubers like Casey Neistat or MKBHD review it yet, we'll go over it real quick because they basically gave really good overviews. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. So this thing is pretty cool. Some of the really neat things in this small package is basically that it has, what I like the best is it has the gesture controls. So they're showing here in this, let me refresh it quick. In this video on Mashable, this guy is like waving and saying, "Hey, come on back home," and it comes right back to him. He puts his hand underneath of it, and it lands back in his hand. So as he says push back, he's holding it up for the gestures and different things like that. So I thought that was really cool. The price is still, it's reasonable for most really solid, good software drones. It's at $500, which isn't the cheapest of drones, but for DJI it's cheap.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a decent, like MKBHD was saying, it's going to be a good. He called it like a toy or a something to play with. It's not for professional. You're not going to get 4K out of it. It's 1080p, which is perfect, for most people. And I was actually kind of surprised at the combination of looking at the two different. Casey was showing the Maverick versus the Sparks video, and you could really not even, at 4K on a small screen. I was playing on my iPad or my iPhone when I watched it. You couldn't really tell the difference. So I mean, if you were producing it at something higher, probably, but. So it's pretty solid. I mean, I know you guys, we talked about it a couple days ago, but what are your thoughts on the Spark?
So I saw a couple more things here. There was a comparison that they showed the sensor size of the camera, and they showed like an iPhone 7 would be like this, and the Spark is about like this. It's about like 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 size bigger than like a camera phone sensor. So it's a nicer sensor than like hooking up a iPhone on a drone and flying it around, so to speak. So it looks like it's going to get some good quality. So that's why it's going to get a good solid image. I think really what they're marketing here is the like 18 to 30 age. And, you're taking it out hiking. You're taking it to a party. Yep. You're not doing a wedding photography. You're not doing professional film, but you're doing fun things for your Facebook, for your Twitter, Instagram, famous, etc. Those things that you just wanted to have a good time with it, like a good fun experience with the drone. So this will be great for people that are just learning and figuring it out, because there's a lot of automation with it, like the hand motion, stuff like that. you only use your phone. There is an optional controller that you can buy. So I think this will be a win for them. There's a bunch of colors. I think like 4 colors: yellow, red, green. It'll be cool. I'm excited to see it, see what they're going to do. I really wish, I think a $400, like a $399 would really be great for this. Because 1080p, if I would say that for 4K, but 1080p for $500, that's a little bit much. Like you were saying, you can get the pro version of the 3 and it'd be about $500. And so that's 2.7K and going to be an overall better image, but it's a lot bigger. So you're paying for convenience.
Yeah, put it in your pocket and go.
Usability.
Yep.
So.
And DJI is pretty good with their software. So I mean, like it says, like if it gets to the point where it's a mile out and it's starting to run out of battery, it'll automatically come back to where it first launched. So stuff like that. I mean, you can buy a $500 drone that's like a Phantom 4 with 4K gimbal and camera and everything on there from other manufacturers. The knockoffs that you see on Amazon and stuff. But DJI has been doing it for long enough now. As long as they're not forcing everybody to register before you can use your drone, which I just saw that article that came out, which kind of makes me just SMH. But, I think it's definitely a go-to company for people looking for a solid software and hardware combo.
Josh, you can grab that link and post it in the chat there if you want for your free giveaway. And they have like the best sensors and things like that. It only has a 3-axis gimbal instead of or 2-axis gimbal instead of 3, which isn't that big of a deal. So it means that it can go up and down and turn left and right, but it can't, or side to side, but it can't go left or right. So that's where the other gimbals are slightly better for the side to side. But all the images that I've seen, them moving around, them going, it was completely smooth. And that kind of holds true to the stabilization of the drone itself is just super solid. So you're not going to notice a huge difference there. But I mean, if that drops down the Mavic's price and that drops down their other drones price, this is a great time for drone enthusiasts to check it out. It's cool. But yeah.
Let me look in my I'm going to post a link in the chat here. There was a review that I just watched earlier of a really cool his username is iPhone Doe. And but he did a really good review of the Mavic. Not the Mavic, the Spark, sorry. And let me see if I can copy the link address and throw it in here. Should work. But he actually used a bust of Iron Man to actually make the Spark move around, which was really awesome. And he showed off all the features of it. You actually have a bunch of really cool modes for recording yourself, like the rocket where it goes up, faces down, and then shoots up in the sky. A circular one where it rotates all the way around you. One where it does like a figure 8 motion, and then one where it like follows you but then fades away. So some really cool software improvements. Hopefully they'll flash those to the Mavic if it doesn't already have it. But I guess
that's what I guess
I just haven't looked into the Mavic.
Yeah, the software optimizations for the Spark are really great. Mavic has some of those, but they really optimize these even better and added modes to make it more consumer friendly, that you're not going to be playing around with the controller a whole bunch for hours trying to figure it out. You're just using your phone, popping around, hitting a mode to get a really cool video for Instagram. That's really what this is for.
The iPhone Doe guy was like, I can't even do this in manual mode, so this is awesome.
Yeah. Cooper, he's giving away 3 gaming keyboards on his channel. So that's what the Green.io is there. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But Huawei came in pretty strong this week with a couple things. And first off, they came out with a hold on. Oops.
Just
my
goodness.
yeah, it's why is it doing this? Hold on one second, guys. My screen's decided to switch on me. So they came out with
switcheroo, eh?
what was that?
The old switcheroo, eh?
Yeah. So here you go. This is the Matebook lineup. They came out with 3 systems here. So the main one they came out with was this Matebook X, which is trying to be a MacBook competitor. So like the 12-inch MacBook that's super thin, this is a competitor to that. So it's USB-C, headphone jack, super thin, super light, all metal, really premium design, really, really good looking. A 2K display, a good loudspeaker. So this looks really solid. And then they have 2 other kind of models here. They have, the X, which is the super slim with big sound. That's a 4 gig or 8 gig with 256 or 512 of the SSD, i5s, i7. Got some background noise there. Then the Matebook E, which is the detachable 2-in-1, like a Surface Book. Like a Surface Pro here. And then the Matebook D, which is kind of like just a thicker, more workhouse version of that, which is kind of what I like the best because this has full-size ports, USB-C, kind of like all the main things you would want, more here, and a little bit you can do HDD or SSD configurations. So this has, a little bit more bang for your buck as far as like the things. It's not as pretty or as exciting, but they're coming out swinging here. This is 3 models, and Huawei's really been putting out some quality with their devices for mobile devices, and they had some really nice tablets, and now they're moving in and trying to hit some of that MacBook territory and Surface territory. So now it'll be interesting to see kind of what this looks like, but these look super sleek, super super nice overall. What do you guys think of these from Huawei?
Well, I mean, more options is always better, and Huawei is entering the market here. So I mean, I'm definitely down for more competition for the Surface, for the MacBook, all that kind of stuff will push innovation, and basically make everybody compete more honesty, more innovation. I'm all for that.
Yeah. So it's nice because they have on the X, they actually have USB-C on both the left and the right. And it says that they designed the USB charger to work on all kinds of devices. So you can use it to power up your phone and other devices to charge other things as well. So pretty solid. I'm excited. And I think that this could be a good alternative for some people that are looking for some sleek devices and are doing pretty well. But speaking of Surface devices, Josh, what did Microsoft do this week and past week that kind of threw some people off for a little bit here?
Oh my goodness. They had a event in China and basically said, this is the new Surface Pro, the most versatile laptop, where it's still a tablet hybrid, but right. They're calling it a laptop now. But yeah, so they basically just said, hey, we're going to drop the numbering and make the new Surface Pro instead of calling it the 5. So it looks a lot similar to the Surface Pro 4, but they said they have rounded the edges a little bit. And they've added an even better hinge that goes down further. They've basically given you all the same colors, almost all the same colors of the Surface laptop keyboard kind of thing for the type cover. And they have increased the video playback to 13.5 hours versus 9. So the battery is bigger, like almost 40% bigger it should be. So that should translate into, better battery life overall. And it says it's 50% longer battery life than Surface Pro 4. 2.5 more performance than Surface Pro 3, fastest startup and resume of any Surface Pro yet. So they're claiming that you have instant on, basically. So yeah, I just went and checked out one. I've got a first look video on my channel, and I will post a link to that really quick. They did away with the fan on the i5 model, so now the M3 and the i5 do not have a fan. But they have improved also hybrid cooling on the i7 model. So it's going to be very interesting to see the performance of both of those models. And they've introduced a new pen, which I'll switch over to. So this has gone from it has tilt support. You can tilt the tip to shade. It has real-time inking. It says no lag or latency. They've actually increased the pressure sensitivity from 1024 to like 4000 something. But the only bummer is they don't include the pen anymore, so it's $100 extra for the pen, which is like unbelievable.
Bummer.
But you can get the old pen for $60 if you want to cheap out on that. But yeah, it has a bunch of apps already supported and stuff like that. So
is the pricing on this as similar as it was on the 4 before?
Yes, it'll just technically be. Let me go to the pre-order spot real quick. So it actually, so the $800 for the M3 version with 4 gigs of RAM. If you want to go up to the i5 with 4 gigs, it's $1,000. You want to go to the i5 8 gig, it's $1,300. The i7 with 8 gigs, $1,600. And then the i7 with 512, 16 gigs of RAM, $2,200, and the i7 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte, $2,700. So gets pretty pricey up there, but I think the sweet spot is the i5 with 8 gig at $1,300 or the i7 with 8 gig at $1,600. So those are going to be your best bang for your buck for performance. So yeah, I've already pre-ordered the i5 with 8 gigs. So I'm going to be picking one of those up and probably doing the same thing I did last time, is keeping it for a month and upgrading to the i7 with 8 gigs so I can get more content for gaming benchmarks out for y'all.
There you go.
So,
well, moving right along here, Jeremy, what kind of a more Tesla aficionado are you going to bring to us? You're the resident expert on Tesla. What do you got for us?
So there's been some spottings around the U.S. of the Tesla Model 3, trying to be incognito as much as possible, but it's coming, and it's so close you can taste it. So they apparently they did some real comparisons on the road and got their 0 to 60 results, and they're saying it's about 5.6 seconds for the Model 3, which is pretty fast for the price that this is going to be.
For $35,000, yeah. I wonder if that's
exactly.
Like, that could be a jazzed up version. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So it may be their, like, I don't know. They didn't say if it was the ludicrous mode. They said they weren't going to have like that high end kind of thing in the Model 3. So it'll be interesting to see what different modes they have, what happens with that. But it's half the time of the Model S, which is 2.3 seconds, but that's because it's a P100D. So, this is known, this is a 250 plus mile one.
Triple the cost, right? That's like $100,000 car.
You're starting at, exactly. You're starting at 100 for the P100D, but it's pretty interesting. I can't wait to see more numbers on that about what they're coming out with prices, and with the all glass top and things like that. Should be a pretty legitimate option for people looking to get into the all electric space. And
MKBHD's jab at the Ferrari on the video.
Yes. He said, let's get a real car out here. A real fast car.
Faster car to use the Inspire on.
Exactly. Yeah, that was pretty fun that he did that. So we'll have to just keep a lookout for that, and I'll report further as we get more info. But it's I was excited to see that. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, that's super solid. I'm a big fan of that.
Thanks for that coverage, Jeremy, on the Tesla Model 3. Now back to you, Joel, with the Xiaomi Mi Max 2.
Exactly. Oh yeah, Josh is moving us right along. He's got to get going a little early today. So I'm just loving the coverage of the smartphones being in the budget range this month and this year. And Xiaomi, we talked about them getting a North America in Mexico, their plant. And here they're moving right along with more things. They're not very holding back with their looks towards an iPhone, and they even kind of do some of the similar wallpapers. But this is a monster of a device here at 6.4 inches, I think it said. And 6.4 inches, Snapdragon 625, which is super popular with the budget phones right now. And 4 gigs of RAM, 12 megapixel camera, and 5,300 milliamp hour battery. So they're not joking around here. It quick charge 3.0, and it says capable of 68% in an hour. So even on that huge battery, it's still in an hour able to pump out some things. So here's the great thing. The price starts at $247 for the 64 gig and $291 for 128. So under $300, you're getting a 128 model. That's a pretty solid option here. So I don't know what kind of what all they're going to have with this, but Xiaomi's been putting out quality products, and it's looking good. I mean, big display, bigger battery. They're really rocking this entry level type thing. But for $250 for the 64 gig, that's hard to pass up with that nice of a device. This looks like a great media device. I mean, it's 1080p display, so it's not going to blow your mind, but it's a huge display, and it looks like it's going to be a decent one for what it is. So, yeah. And then with that, Huawei also has a nice budget phone. So I have here the Honor 6X, which is great from Huawei. And this is a even more budget version. Huawei 6X is kind of like a mid-ranger at $250 to $300. This is a 6A, which is a 720 display. It has Nougat on there already, which is awesome. And then 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage. So it's not going to be fast at all. But for $115, they're not pulling you for anything here. So yeah, I mean, it's a budget phone, but goes up for pre-order in China, and we'll see where they kind of bring it elsewhere. But they got some cool colors: silver, blue, pink. This will be a cool budget offering, but basically just to point out how much they are improving in budget lines and really just stepping it up. That it's so hard to spend $1,000 on a full smartphone when there's so many great options out there. But moving right on, just before you leave, tell them about your giveaway that's going on right now that's ending today.
Yes. So I have basically giving away Trace 3 gaming keyboards. And let me give you, I will put the YouTube link again in the chat here. And the Gleam, it's a Gleam giveaway. The Gleam link is also in the description. Yep. I will copy that again as well. There's only about 650 people signed up for the giveaway. So your chances are not horrible. You know, it's not like 1,000,000 to 1, but at the same time,
yeah,
you're probably going to want to. Well, I mean, it's 1 in 200, right? 220, right? So, you know,
well, the cool thing is that you can get 5 entries: 1 for subscribing, which you have to do, and then 1 for subscribing to me. You should be if you're watching.
Bro love, bro love. But
then there's a couple other ones on there too for checking out some other things with Josh. So. Go ahead over there, watch that video, like some of his other videos. Speaking of the Surface Pro, he has all kinds of new content with that. So if you're feeling some new peripherals from Microsoft and other companies, go check it out. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. Jeremy, what do you got? You got one more article for us. What do you have here with 3D printing? Speaking of, quick caveat, I just got this from Jeremy, which is awesome. He 3D printed this. You can see the Triforce here, sweet, 1-up mushroom there. And this is a stand for the Nintendo Switch. You can see the Switch there, but you can put it there and have the Joy-Con controllers in your hand so that you can set up and play it on a tabletop, which is really cool. You take
I'll let you charge it.
Yeah, so you can charge it and just have it set there, and the USB-C cable will come out the back of the bottom there. So it's really cool.
Yeah, because with its built-in kickstand, the charger, you can't put it on the table like that without it falling all over the place.
Ooh, I just knocked over my light.
Goodbye. Yeah, so speaking of 3D printing, you know, most people think of 3D printing as being an additive process of plastic or something like that, but recently they just released a particular model of 3D printer that will 3D print metal objects called the desktop metal. And this is pretty cool. It will actually print like ceramic powder and the metal. It'll put layers down. And the ceramic, when you put it in that little guy over here, this baker over here, it'll actually get all that ceramic will get burned out, and it'll just leave the metal there. So the interesting thing is that this is the cost has been dramatically reduced from previous metal printers, and the way it does it is safe to touch right after you do it. So they kind of build a polymer that mixes together, and it's pretty cool. So some of the things they have are just, you know, metal parts for rapidly do some things in there, and without having to, you know, fabricate maybe a mold or something like that to take it to a big factory to put it on a line and injection mold tons of metal or aluminum or something like that. So for smaller jobs, for doing lots of prototyping and things like that, it's pretty cool. And it's $120,000, which is actually cheaper than some 3D printers.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. That they're, you know, and that includes both the printer and the sintering furnace. So it's pretty neat that some of those things they're coming out with.
Yeah,
and I would put the video that it doesn't show to go check it out.
And these things are just going to keep coming down in price now that you know, 3D printers were in the $100,000 range. The regular ones, even the smaller ones, were way expensive. You know, and now there's more commercial versions. So as these come out, this will make more sense for a small business, maybe like a contractor, someone working in a factory, whatever. This will make sense down the road for them to custom make parts for people's houses or for their company or something like that. So that's
people trying to innovate, you know, build some prototypes of something that they may want to try out to see if they can, you know, sell a couple at a store or something like that, and just see how well it does in the marketplace just locally. And then if it does well, or they, you know, you can print some stuff to put on Shark Tank or something. You know, I mean, it's really the once you have the ability to print something with that's relatively complex, because you know, the additive process can do some pretty interesting things. Then it changes the world. So
great. That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Imagine if an auto parts store had that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Crazy.
You just like order something, 30 minutes, go and pick it up, and, you know, replace whatever fitting or you know, cover or something like that. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. That'd be great. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for watching so much. Lastly, I'll tell you, there is a link in the description. I was on the Pocketnow Pocket Weekly podcast, because I'm going to be joining Pocketnow for guest video producing, doing some videos for their channel here and there on some different devices. So I'm excited to get a video out for them probably next week sometime, and you can watch it over on their channel. If you haven't checked out Pocketnow, they do a lot of great mobile coverage. cool stuff there. So Josh has some cool new coverage on Surface Pro and giveaways going on. Jeremy, what do you got going on? Anything coming up here?
No giveaways, but if you own a business or know somebody who does, send them our way. We're going to be doing some more things on YouTube and our websites and different things. So check us out.
Awesome. Sounds good. Anything else to cover, guys? We're all good?
Good to go.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and might see you later on a game stream or something like that. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and you